Noting a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. Ask everyone to stand for the pledge who is able, followed by the invocation by Mr. Wilson. I
Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for this day and all the blessing we have received. Lord, we want to thank you for the rain, Lord, that we have received. Please send us some more. Lord, we thank you for our citizens coming out and give input in our meetings. We thank you for them, either good or bad. We thank you. Lord, we thank you for our mayor and our council and our staff that keep our city running smoothly, Lord. Give us the wisdom and guidance to do the right thing for our community, which we all love so much. We're only human, Lord. We do make mistakes. We're not perfect. There was only one perfect man in this world, and that was you. Lord, there are people in our community that lost loved ones, Lord. Comfort them at this time, Lord. Be with us as we go through this meeting, Lord. Protect us and guide us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the chamber, to our council meeting on April the 9th, 5:30, a regular meeting. Also, thank any of those who would be listening in at home. We'll move along with our agenda. Item 3, citizens' presentations. Do we have any? Okay. 4, proclamations. No proclamations that I see. Item number 5, introduction of new employees. David?
I'd like to introduce our new finance director, Clay Bittner.
How are y'all? Most of you know me, but for those who don't, my name is Clay Bittner. I'm born and raised in Weimar. I'm thankful to be here. I really want to thank the council, thank Mr. Mason for the opportunity, and I'm ready to be here and serve the city of Weimar.
Thank you. Our second new employee is the Chief of Police, Mr. Jason Smalley.
Jason Smalley, I was a former police chief in Belleville. I was there for 22 years. The last 4 of those years where I was the chief of police, retired, and I ended up going to the state. They were trying to transfer me. I couldn't make that work out. So luckily this all worked out. I want to thank the mayor, Mr. Mason, and council for giving me the opportunity. I look forward to serving this community. Weimar is much until the same way where I'm from with Belleville. People are the same. They're great people, hometown people, and it makes me feel like I'm at home here. So I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody here. And we just implemented the Wednesday walk around, so we'd like for anybody who would like to get to know us or get to know me better, please call the police department, and we're more than happy to set up an appointment with you. And anybody on an open door, if you want to come by, just stop in, please do so. Thank you all so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Chief, while you're standing, would you like to introduce our new officer?
I was about to sit down, I'm sorry about that. So we got a great officer here, Officer Miguel Camaro from Columbia, Missouri ISD Police Department, 18 years of experience. He's an advanced peace officer, and I'll let him speak a little bit too, if he doesn't mind.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, like I said, Miguel Camaro. I started my career as a police officer in 2006, and I'm proud to be joining the police department as a new police officer for the city, and I'm looking forward to serve the community with integrity and keep the city, our citizens safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all. Okay. City manager and staff reports, David?
Mayor, Council, if I could bring your attention to pages 5 through 6. I'll just highlight some of the items here on my report. We had a sewer leak on East North and North St. Andrews running along the drainage ditch. Michael reported this to TCEQ and began the proper repairs, isolation, and cleanup. I think they've just about completed that today, the final steps today. The crews were working on drainage issues along Southeast Street and alongside Southwest Rail where the water collects on Southeast Street when it rains. They've cleaned out the ditches, both up and down Southeast Street and then along the side of Southwest Rail, so that should help with that. We'll know after this weekend. A truck took down a power line on the north side of the Trendview Estates subdivision. Power was out most of the afternoon, about 7 hours, I believe it was. It was pretty good damage over there. We did have contractors come in and repair that. Well number 6 was treated with and cleaned with bicarbus. E3 was here today and I'll let Michael go into more detail later on in his report, but they were here to install the bicarbus tanks and injectors. And then I'm working with the tavern, their electrician, and Safebuilt to move forward with their electrical upgrades. We're currently waiting to see what upgrades that they want to do. I spoke with Mark Luchek, and he said that at this point, possibly they're going to go back to the plan that where maybe they're going to find a breaker that's not in use and utilize that space and then use that for the kitchen. That's kind of where we are, the last I've heard. Billy Nunn, our building inspector, turned in his resignation. He's going to take a full-time job in Schulenburg that it's not related to building inspector. It's more of a planning position. So we've reached out to Safebuilt. They're going to take over those operations for us. I did speak with Lisa Blasik about her new coffee trailer. She did attend Rock the Block. She did very well. She was very pleased with that. And we're working with planning and zoning to move forward with the food truck court over there on Eagle Street. And that's it for my report. Let's see who we have next. Clay, financial report?
So the finance report for the month, first page, direct on page 7, shows the investment report, shows the cash on hand, not much difference from last month. Next 2 pages kind of breaks it down, and then you see the summary on page 9 and the chart there. The next, on page 10, 11, and 12 is your reconciliation. I have some items listed out as far as what they were for here. If there's any questions there, we can answer that. And then on page 14 and 15 are the credit card statements that show pretty much just normal standard expenses, nothing that sticks out there. And the last page of the financial reports is just the vehicle repairs for the month, just standard repairs citywide.
David?
Okay, the next report will be from Danny Stock, the Human Resources Department.
Good evening. My report is in your packet. I do want to make an update slash correction. On the workers' compensation, there was actually only 2 active claims. We're now down to 1. I have visited with 5 different emergency notification systems. I have a general idea of what it's going to cost us to replace Code Red, which we are losing at the end of this calendar year. Then Dave and I will have to sit down and decide which one we're going to go with for budgeting purposes. But if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Danny, have we ever come up with anything that, over the last several years, there's been questions notifying the community when something was going on that kind of short of Code Red? And of course, there were some policing concerns about, if we allowed too information, that puts the officers in jeopardy, particularly late in the evening, those sorts of things. So have we ever found any kind of remedy for that?
Well, I would say that having Lauren be the public information officer, she's been available to post out on Facebook. We had an incident the other night where our phone system didn't roll because of the fiber cut on the other side of LaGrange.
Right.
So once I realized, well, Derek's not here. I was turning around to look for him. He's not here. Derek found out that our phones were not rolled. He called me. I got in touch with David. I said, David, what's the plan? And I attempted to roll the phones a bunch of different ways to try to get it to come to my cell phone or anything. It didn't work. So Lauren put out a Facebook post to let people know, hey, you're going to need to call the sheriff's office for a utility emergency. And I took the time to call the dispatch office and let them know, hey, here's the guys that you need to call if you get a call. This guy for electric, this guy for water. And they were willing to help us out that night.
Okay. So Lauren can help us in those situations.
Correct.
And then for the replacement of the code red, I guess, have we contacted other cities to see what they're
Yes.
using, and that's,
Yeah, I contacted Schulenburg, Hallettsville, LaGrange, Flatonia, Sealy, Eagle Lake, and I also contacted Weimar ISD to see what they were using. Unfortunately, the answer I got from most of those places was, we don't have anything, and the ISDs is specific for ISDs. I contacted Civic Plus, Everbridge, TextMyGov, and GoGov, and Red Flag Alerts. Unfortunately, a lot of our residents want a phone call. Not all of these people are willing to do a phone call. Our older residents don't want a text message. They want a phone call.
Yeah.
Is this something we can work out?
Yeah, we're gonna try and find something that we'll use the phone system.
I mean,
We'll
gonna-
use
it's gonna
both,
cost-
actually, we'll use both.
it's gonna cost us a little more because we were sharing Code Red throughout the county, with Eagle Lake, Columbus, and us.
gotcha,
So we weren't spending quite as much as having to do it on our own.
gotcha.
I noticed in your report that you're also working on the employee manual. That's great.
Yes.
Updating that sort of thing.
Yes. I'm waiting on David now.
And also maybe are you gonna be working through the city ordinances as well?
David mentioned that. I have pointed out a few things to the previous city manager that needed to be updated. For example, we changed our TMRS in 2024 to say that you could retire at 20 years instead of 25, and that needs to be updated in our ordinances.
Okay.
And probably a little committee with Danny, myself, and Maria would probably.
But we are relying on council to tell us what we need to change also,
Yeah.
on some things, obviously.
Thank
One,
you.
one thing I'd like to note, I don't know what was spent, or what's the city spent for, the certifications for Billy Nunn, but I think moving forward, we definitely need to have something in a contract that we get reimbursed for.
Right, when
That's very
when he
disappointing.
was hired on, there was no agreements.
Yeah.
We do have agreements like that for police trainees, the rookies, cadets.
Correct.
We do have those, but yeah, definitely, we
All
talked about that.
employees moving forward.
Definitely, if they're gonna get specialized training, they need to have 2 or 3 year agreement.
Correct.
Yes, exactly.
David and I had that conversation.
Yeah,
for
we
that very
did.
reason.
Good deal.
Yes.
We're laying out these funds, and then, they take advantage of the training, which is awesome, that's what we want them to do.
Correct.
But then they owe the city some amount of service before we say it's okay for you to part ways.
It's not reimbursement.
And on
Exactly.
Billy's behalf, when he hired on, Don was here, and he had a plan to move forward. When Don left, it kind of left him in limbo. He didn't have that support structure there, and there wasn't enough volume of work between Schulenburg and us to keep him busy. So he just felt he wasn't accomplishing things for the city, so that's where he took the other position.
Gotcha.
One other question, Danny. I can't remember where it is exactly, whether it's the train manual. Whether it's the employee manual or the ordinances, probably the employee manual, but how we disperse our longevity pay.
Yes.
That, that language is really pretty
Yes.
vague, and I think that's caused some issues in the past.
It has.
So if we could get that clarified so that
Yes.
the employees, the council know exactly what it takes to
Yes.
earn that longevity pay, we'll all be happier.
Yeah, David and I have had actually several discussions, and you and David and I had that one discussion about changing that, and then subsequently we had a couple more discussions after that, because then I thought of, oh, wait, if we do this, then what about this? And so there's a lot of if-then situations that we definitely want it to be clear. Like, this is what happens on what day, and you get it if you leave, or you don't get it if you leave. We want it to be black and white. We don't want gray. We don't want to put a city manager in a position to have to make that call like what happened before.
No, exactly.
That's one of those that I think the less subjectivity, the better.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Very good.
Any other questions?
One other thing I do want to note is I like how the employee spotlight, how you are doing that on Facebook. I really like that. So I think that's
Lauren.
okay.
That's
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good idea to get faces out to people on Facebook. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, thank you, Danny.
Okay.
Michael?
Evening, everybody. Alrighty, so, like David had mentioned, we have had quite a few, ditches going on that we've been cleaning up and trying to get, prepared and for the heavier rains in April and May. One of those wasn't necessarily for, drainage mitigation, it was more for the, wastewater spill that we've had to clean up. It was reported to TCEQ. We've since cleaned all the wastewater out of it, and we've completed the actual cleanup section of it as far as TCEQ is concerned, and to remain in compliance. But now we're going through and just recutting the whole entire ditch, and we already did, 2/3 of it. Might as well finish it out right and have it done correct. Have had a couple other little projects going on. We have done a cleanup of all the stumps and smaller trees and things that were out at the Hill Park around the walking trails. Those have all been cleaned up, and it's looking a lot better out there now. As far as TCEQ is concerned, we have had a few other small violations that have come through that were all stem from back last summer. Most of them are dated June and July 30th of 2025, and they're just now trickling down to where we're getting notified for them. Some of those are coming with essentially their notice of violation, so that's a fix-it ticket. And we've been able to action them pretty quick where they're off of our back. Like I said, even this week, we had one that we didn't get notification for until the 6th, and it was due the 9th, and it was something that needed a mailer out to every single person in town that's got a letter copper service line. And thankfully, the ladies here at the office have been great with that.
If I can stop you for a second, I'd like to
Absolutely
thank
awesome.
Christine, her son, Lolly, and several ladies from the library came over and they helped us to get that out. It was something that was probably going to take a week, and we got it done in little over 1 day. So
Yes.
thanks to all those
Yes,
people.
Absolutely. I have had contractors coming out to inspect the ground storage tank on Plant 3 down closer to the hospital, as that was one thing that we were written up for in our compliance investigation back in February, and that was the only item that I haven't been able to action and correct because it is a larger problem. It's a whole storage tank leaking. Had a second contractor come out and climb the tank today and do an inspection and all of that to get a bid. So we've got one bid already. That will be our second bid, and I'm still waiting on a third bid, which I should have probably by the end of this week, if not early next week. So we should have 3 bids by sometime next week, where we can start actioning and figuring out a game plan to satisfy TCEQ as far as resealing the inside of that tank to prevent any leaks on the outside. And then, as mentioned also, we did get the bicarbus installed today, but we have not gone live with the injection. We've set up everything, we've tested it, but I'm holding off until Monday. That way I can better manage it and monitor it throughout the week. And what our plan is, we're gonna start a flushing program that's gonna be kind of intermittent for the next 2 weeks, where we're gonna be flushing at all times throughout the days for the next 2 weeks. But our intent is to slowly work it away up from the plant that it's at, where it's being injected to, and flushing it slowly up these lines so that we can evenly spread it all throughout town at a steady pace. And then once that happens, if we get the whole town injected with it, our residuals and everything are looking good at the far reach points of town, we'll cut that back down to about half of the dosage, and then that would be our regular regular dosage going forward.
And you have notices going out about that, or you will?
Yes,
to
we
the
will.
city?
We'll have them posted tomorrow, yes, sir.
That's going to go out on Facebook.
Yes.
And I guess we can put something on our website too,
Absolutely.
indicate that.
Absolutely.
We'll do this thing. Okay, good.
It'll just be intermittent flushing for 2 weeks, but we will be out there flushing every day. But it'll slowly start from the far southeast portion of town, and we're gonna try to spread it out evenly, just to make sure we get everything covered. Because once this does get evenly distributed, its first goal is gonna be tackling all the scale that's on the inside of these pipes. So that's the first thing. It's gonna get dirtier before it gets better, and that's why we have to stay on top of the flushing to make sure that we're getting that scale out as quickly as it's coming loose, so that in the future, we don't have, say, 2 or 3 weeks later, we have more collecting in there that's not getting, properly exiting the distribution system. And then, other than that, we do have a little bit more information on the, compliance SEP that we've been working on for the violation for the wastewater treatment plant. TCEQ did come back and say that we are not allowed to use the contracted operator's salary for the write-off. So I've already been with TCEQ, and we've sent invoices and larger ticket items that we purchased all the way back to May of 2024, which is what they've allowed now, when initially we thought it was going to be June of 2025 that we could take our invoices back to. Now they've allowed us over an extra year. So they have the invoices now, and they're combing through them, and then later on, I'm asking for approval to go ahead and finalize all of that. Any questions so far?
I had 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
At the intersection, or close to the intersection of Jackson and College, which is kind of Weimer Home Furnishers, south of the railroad tracks.
Yes, sir.
There's a pile of dirt that's off in the ditch, and it's been there so long, like grass is completely growing over it. Is that the city's, or is that?
That's the homeowner.
It's that house, yes, sir.
That's the homeowners, yes.
And, you know, it's blocking any drainage that's gonna happen. I feel like we either need to give them a notice, or they need to get it moved, or
Yeah.
we need to clean it up and
I
bill them
agree.
for it.
I
There's
agree.
another one back over here too, similar situation.
Okay.
We could have Jim go out and check on it.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then the other thing was the drainage issue that was on West Grange Street. Just to kind of keep that on the radar, it's at, pretty much at Grange Street and North College. When it rains, all that water backs up that goes towards the school, because there's no drainage that goes towards the junior high.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
just making sure it's still on the radar.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
All righty. Any other questions? All right, well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
The next report will be Police Chief. And I believe we have these handouts that are in front of us here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mason. Thank you, council. First and foremost, I wanted to thank Weimer PD, Lauren and John, and the rest of the crew that have been holding down the fort during this transitional phase. They've done a really good job. I believe they've gone above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that we're up and running and doing a good job. So thank you all so much for that. I also want to thank Justin Lindeman and his deputies for coming in and stepping in and taking calls for us while we've been shorthanded. So that's been a wealth of great for us as well. So I would like to thank him as well. Which leads me into the next sector. We will be adding some more personnel to our agency. Of course, we've got Miguel now, and we'll have 2 more that are in background currently. I hope to have them hired in the next couple of weeks. So by the end of April, we will no longer need Sheriff Lindeman's services anymore, which will help us out considerably as well. They'll only leave us 1 vacant spot at that point. So we'll try to get that filled as well. And then we'll be completely fully staffed at that point. So we're working on it. Give me a little bit more time and we'll be there. Thank you all though. So anyway, if you have the report that we're providing tonight, Lauren just pushed this out a while ago. It looks a little different than what y'all have seen the last few months, I guess a couple months, but it's the way we would like to transition back over to this style of reporting. We had calls for service during March, which I was not here, but I'm reporting on it. 123 calls for service. Number of offense reports generated were 12. There were 3 arrests. Traffic stops were 4, and we had 3 written warnings and 3 citations. It's 31 days of reporting, and the calls for service averaged at 3.96 per day, so roughly 4 calls per day. So anyway, that's all we have at this point. If you want this more specific, we can certainly work on that. If you want specific numbers for specific crimes, then we can certainly do that as well. So just let us know, and we'll accommodate however we need to. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Great, Chief. Misty?
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, City of Weimar patrons. All right, so what we got going on this month for April, it is National Poetry Month. So we'll be celebrating our open mic night on April 23rd. Mark your calendars and get that poetry ready. So that would be at 6:30 p.m. at the City Gazebo. If it's bad weather, we're going to move it into the library. Okay? Tomorrow we are having an author presentation with Charles Decker. He's going to be talking about his book, The Blanket, at 10 a.m. Please register at the library if you'd like to attend. Book Club will be joining us on Monday the 13th, meeting at 6 p.m. I think they're doing the correspondent right now. And another thing coming up is our book sale. It'll be on Saturday, May 2nd. It'll be from 8 a.m. to noon. So if you're interested in getting some books for your library at home, please join us on that day to check out what we have. We are also celebrating National Library Week just from the 19th through the 25th at the library. We'll just find your joy in reading a book just by coming by and stopping for a visit. For our monthly visits for March, we had better than last year and more than last month. We had 660 people visit us. For our audiobooks with Libby and online, we had 25 people check out, and we had on ebooks 61. Seems like ebooks is the most popular. Right now in the library, we have 17,810 holdings, meaning books or materials in the library. We have 1,812 patrons using the library, and at this time, we have 263 books and stuff on loan right now. And that is it. Any questions? Or any ideas?
Good. All right.
We're always keeping that calendar book, so if you have any ideas of what y'all want at the library, just let me know. All right, guys.
Thank you. The final report will be from Jim Powers. He's not here tonight. He is actually going to be taking a test tomorrow morning. Chief, do you want to explain what kind of test he's taking?
Yes,
The
so,
name of it?
Jim's been studying for a while now for the TCOL exam that's going to be taken tomorrow in a different county. It's a challenging exam, 250 questions that involves all sorts of aspects of law enforcement. So we wanted to make sure that he has due diligence and time to pass that test. So he couldn't be here tonight, but he'll be here for the next council meeting to provide the report.
All right, we wish him good luck on the test.
We sure will.
That concludes the staff reports.
Very good. We'll move to our next item, presentations. This particular item, council, is going to be pulled. There's been a family emergency, so we're going to set that aside until our next meeting, so that we move into our consent agenda. And per that, since we pulled 7.1, we'd also be pulling 8.2, which would be approval of that item. So the consent agenda will all be acted on with one vote, and that'll be approval for the regular council city minutes of March 12th, 2026. Approval of street closure for the Katinki Parade, May 9th, 2026, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. 8.4, approval of street closure for Katinki Festival, May 6th through 10th, 2026. That's street closure packet, you'll see that. And then 8.5, acceptance of resignation of Linda Chenard from the Weimar Planning and Zoning Commission effective March 18th, 2026, and declaring that position vacant.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Wilson and a second by Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll move to item 9, public hearing. 9.1, open hearing for discussion of ordinance number 2026-04-09-01, amending Chapter 14 zoning, Article 14.02 to add definition of variance in 14.02.007 and to establish 14.02.009 variances.
Gary, would you like to come up and speak on this item?
Gary Chernock, and the chairman of the zoning commission. And the particular ordinance in front of you, dealing with variances, kind of came to light with an astute observation by our new city secretary when we had a request for some variances coming up, and she contacted me about, proper procedure, and I want to be sure I told her correctly, so I went in the ordinance, and lo and behold, we had no administrative mechanism for administering variances. We do for conditional use permits, but not for variances. So the zoning commission met and we decided we needed to formulate something in the ordinance that covers variances, so we have the mechanism there. Maria checked with TML, and they said that this has happened before, and if we basically follow the same procedure, the question was about the validity of previous variances that have been granted, because this has been missing in the ordinance since the ordinance was adopted. So they suggested to her that it should not be a problem as long as we follow the same procedures that we did for the previous variances. She did some research into the way the previous notifications and that were done, and they were all followed the same procedure that we did for conditional use permits. And just to clarify why this was kind of a mystery is that it was all done through the city secretary's office, and we did not do any of the notification process. All we did is see the applications and determine whether we could grant the variances or not. So there was no cause to research this on our end until this came up. So it was decided that we really need to cover this in the zoning ordinance. And so basically what we've done is we've just defined what the variance is, explained the purpose of it, and taken all the same actions that are used to administer the conditional use permits and applied them to the variance process. And this is the process that had been followed all these years before, so it effectively doesn't change anything the way, in the manner the previous variances were granted. So it should provide us some protection for anyone that might have issues with the variances granted prior to this action. And just to hit on the 9.2, the definition, it was just to make a definition in the definitions section of the zoning ordinance that was more specific to the new wording of the variance administrative part. So that's what this is all about, and it's to get it to get the administrative end of it into the ordinance, so that from here on out there is a prescribed process to grant variances. And for those of you that don't know or understand the difference between a conditional use and a variance, conditional uses are granted for various things. Like a good example is a home business that would not ordinarily be permitted. Daycares are generally allowed under conditional use permits and that sort of thing. But conditional use permits, we as the zoning commission can place conditions on granting that permit. It can be up for renewal annually or whatever time period we require. There can be specific restrictions placed on how they can operate, say, parking restrictions and things like that. All these things can be incorporated, and the code enforcement then would follow up on those conditional uses, and if they're not adhered to by the person that receives the conditional use permit, the conditional use permit can be revoked. Also, in the city of Weimar, the conditional use permit is not transferable. If, say for instance, somebody, again, I'm gonna just use the example of daycare because it's a common thing. If somebody wants to purchase a existing daycare, they have to really come before us and get another conditional use permit. It's not transferred to them by buying the business. Variances are applicable more to real estate boundaries. It falls into place when large lots are subdivided into smaller lots. Undersized lots, we allow construction on undersized lots, which according to zoning would not be allowed to be developed, but we have a historic area in town that is undersized by definition, and has always been, according to zoning. So we don't end up with vacant properties and the people can actually use the property. We grant variances for structures or whatever on that property, and that in almost all instances is transferable with the property. It's not conditional to the person that receives the variance. So it's two distinct things, and one of the reasons we felt we needed to be sure that we had a process in the zoning ordinance to cover that. And we have several variances on the current agenda for the next meeting, and so we thought it was timely that we get this done before we start dispensing any more variances, and would appreciate as prompt action as y'all can do. And I can answer any questions you have about this, whatever, I don't have the language in front of me. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that with me, but I think y'all probably have that. Thank you.
I got a question. Who enforces those codes?
Code,
Is that Jim Powers?
that's code enforcement. The zoning commission is not an enforcement.
No, but who does? Is it Jim Powers?
The code enforcement department would enforce that. And in the case of variances, the setbacks and things, when it has to do with building, the building inspector may be involved in that to a certain extent too. So
Gary, those variances, are they more permanent in nature?
they typically are permanent. The language that we used in the ordinance, I think it says typically are permanent. And one reason they need to be that way is because you can't tell somebody, okay, you can build a house here, and then they turn around and sell the property, and then you tell the next person that bought the property, well, you have to remove the house. So it's it needs to be a distinction between that and conditional use, and the variance needs to be more or less permanent. The way we have it, I don't know if I can find it right quick in the wording here, but it's basically it says almost always permanent, and that which gives us a little leeway that if there's some peculiar or special case that it could be tied to transfer of the property or something like that if need be. But for the most part, it's considered a permanent action. It's just like it would be attached to the deed or to the property rights. So, but anyway, that's where we're at on this, and that's why it's before y'all now. We have, as I spoke a while back, we have a lot of things on the zoning that we're working on, but this was the thing that was at the top of the list to try to keep everything above board. And so that's where we're at right now with this. So, any other questions? Does it make sense?
It does.
Okay. Bo, do you have any?
No, Gary's accurately summarized it. I've reviewed the proposed ordinance that's up today. It's fine. Yeah. And it makes sense.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gary.
Okay, thank you.
With that, we could move to 9.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt ordinance 2026 2022-04-09-01, amending Chapter 14 zoning, Article 14.02, and the definition of variance in 14.02.007, and to establish that 14.02.009 variances. It is an action item.
Well, I move to approve ordinance number 2006-04-09-01, amending Chapter 14 zoning Article 14.02, and add the definition of variance in 14.02.07, and to establish 14.02.009 variances as present.
Motion Roberts,
I believe you said 2006, but 2026, correct? Or did I hear that wrong?
It's
Yeah, it should be 2026, I think you said 2.
2026.
Okay.
Just make sure, but I'll second it,
Correction.
just making sure.
Yes,
I'll
I
second
probably
it.
said two.
I was gonna say
Okay,
something.
2026, I'll correct that.
thank you, Becky. So that's a motion by Roberts,
I'll second.
second by Christian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Thank you, Gary, for all your work.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
New business, 10.1, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution number 2026-0409-02, adopting the updated master parks plan. David?
Council, this is one of the items that will help us to acquire the Texas Parks and Wildlife grant. If you turn to pages 51 through 67, there's a few items that need to be corrected. Page 53, Councilman Place 4 and 5 they're vacated. Those will need to be removed. And I will pass this back to Langford. If you would approve it with these changes, I'll get her to make the corrections. Page 54, my mobile phone number is 979-304-4002. My email is dmason@weimertx.gov. Then on page 60, where it says running track, it is a quarter-mile track at Weimer ISD, not a 1-mile track. Then the last changes I have to make is on page 62. We no longer have vending machines at the park over here, and the swimming pool is completed. So the sentence at the very last sentence there, where it says Weimer City Park, that swimming pool has been completed. So the history on this was done in, Becky, you'll remember this one, in 2015.
I was gonna say,
So it's been
this
10
has
years
been
ago.
a while.
And it should be renewed every 10 years. So in order to qualify for the grant, we need to just touch this up, renew a few things, and that's where we are tonight.
So this is an action item.
I move to approve the resolution number 2026-0409-02, adopting the City of Weimer 2026 Parks Master Plan with provisions as you stated,
Updated.
or updated.
Motion Christian,
Second?
second Roberts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 10.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution 2026-040903, adopting civil rights and related policies required for the CDBG-MIT Resilient Communities Program. David?
Rhea, do you want to touch base on this? It's more of a formality. This is for our home program, correct?
Yes.
It's something we just need to pass in order for us to participate in the home program. And we have 2 or 3 that you're working on right now?
There's 2 of them,
2 that you're working on right now.
yes.
We have certain federal expectations, right?
Right, right.
This is an action item that the council
Page
has read.
68, if y'all would just review that.
I so
Certainly.
move.
Motion Wilson,
Second.
second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Item 10.3, discussion, consideration, and possible action on resolution 2026-0409-04 of the City of Weimar authorizing city manager to act on behalf of the City of Weimar in all matters related to Texas Parks and Wildlife Department program, certifying eligibility and availability of matching funds, and declaring the project site for public park and recreational use. David?
Yes, again, this is another item we need to pass to allow us to get the Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant. We do have funding from a private donor. We also have a commitment from the Weimar Economic Development Committee for the funds. So we do have the matching funds secured.
And this is an action item.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-0409-04, authorizing the city manager to act on behalf of the City of Weimar in all matters related to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department Local Park Grant Program, certifying eligibility and availability of matching funds, and dedicating the project site for public work and recreational use.
Motion Roberts,
Second.
second Christian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving to 10.4, discussion, consideration, and possible action to authorize Public Works Director Michael Bayette to administer the wastewater compliance supplemental environmental project, CSEP, and approve the use of up to $35,000 from the wastewater budget for associated improvements. David?
Council, this is on page 77. Michael, would you like to speak on this item?
Okay, so since our last meeting, our application for the CSEP was partially approved, but one of the things that they had kicked back was we had included the operator, our contracted operator salary in there. They kicked that back. I mean, basically, we should have an operator anyway, so that doesn't quite count. So what I'm asking for here is I've already started working on getting older invoices. I've sent basically any large ticket item that the wastewater department or that budget has spent since May of 2024, and that's been added to the application and sent to TCEQ. And what we're looking for now is basically the amount of money that it's going to take for whatever they may or accept or may not accept from that point to let me finish this out and clear this out for that fine. Because what I'm kind of nervous or scared of happening is if we invest $20,000 and then I keep coming back and keep coming back, now they're going to get upset and we spent $20,000 and then we owe the whole fine on top of it, and we're kind of a day late and a dollar short. So we're getting close enough where we need to go ahead and just action this and get it done and out of the way.
Again, Michael, this goes all the way back to that, I guess, person that was not getting the job done before.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We received that fine, and you've been trying to mitigate that ever since you got here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Michael has three large items that we have budgeted for, and we have $50,000 in
Yes.
the budget, and he has 3 items, but if we don't do this, he has to come back 3 different times. It could be
Yes.
3 different months, it could draw us out into July maybe. So this way, it'll allow him to purchase those 3 items up to $35,000, just to rectify
Meet
the
the minimum
situation.
and get it over with.
But we'd like to get past this.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What are those 3 items, if not me asking?
You wanna,
I have everything set up to get the flow meter and the totalizer changed out on the effluent at the wastewater plant. But then also I've got DO meters going for each individual pond out there. The oxygen was one of the main things that got popped for busting the permit, and that allowed all the other things associated with that to rise and bust permit as well. So if we've got these dissolved oxygen meters and that paired with all the aerator motors that we've been going through and replacing and everything, that'll keep us, help us keep a better tab on it, especially as it, goes from this type of weather up into the summer months where it's really, starving for that oxygen. We can better respond to it quicker and make sure that it doesn't drop too high or go too low.
Gotcha.
Any other questions?
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So again, this is an action item.
I move to authorize Public Works Director Michael Bayette to administer the wastewater compliance supplement environmental project, CSEP, and approve the use up to $35,000 from the wastewater budget for associated improvements.
Motion Roberts,
Second.
second Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Move to 10.5, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding approval of a professional services agreement with Verdant Consultants LLC for architectural and engineering services for the Weimar Sports Complex project, and to authorize City Manager David Mason to execute that agreement. David?
Mayor, Council, this will allow us to move forward with the sports complex project. Mr. Burdette is here to speak tonight. Would you like to come up to the podium? This is on page 78.
You're on, Charles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mayor, and David, appreciate it, and council, thanks for, it's good to see you again. I think this third time is the charm, I think, or hopefully so. I would just point out, I'd like to thank the mayor and David, and also for City Attorney Dawson for working with us on the scope of services and professional services agreement, which we've been working on the last several weeks, and prior to that, maybe 6 weeks ago, the scope of work. And we feel like that we have a good agreement and a good understanding of the project and what's desired by the community, but also from the donor. And initially, the project envisions designing construction drawings up to a certain cost of work and budget that allows for, it's in excess of the monies that are available presently, but they anticipate getting the Parks and Wildlife grant, also future donations that might come from other sources or other grants. And so what it allows you to do is to hit the street with those construction drawings when you have additional funds, instead of waiting 6 months for additional design, to be able to take advantage of market conditions perhaps and move forward. You'll have those in your pocket and ready to go, and those drawings will be good for, they could be good 5+ years from now, in excess of that actually. And the initial project that's envisioned, even though the entire site will have much more than this, the initial project will be the diamond fields, the 3 sports fields for softball and baseball, also restrooms and concession stands, dugouts, maybe storage facilities for equipment, and also parking, entrance, egress and ingress roadways, and then also the utilities that have to go in, power, water, sewer, field lighting, etc. And so that will most likely, and I'm pretty sure since we've done an initial look at the opinion of probable cost, that's going to exceed the initial donation, and so you'll be moving above that element, or that area. But the first phase of this will design to the numbers that you have available for construction, and that would be the first construction document packet that could go out and go out for bids. And by the time we get the first set of drawings done, somewhere around August, at the end of August, you'll have an opinion of probable cost, and you'll also know a little bit more about what the resources are from the city. And from that point on, you can make a decision about how much to put out on the street, and also whether to have ad alternates that are included in the bids. We recognize this is an exceptional project for the city and an incredible investment. And we know that public parks serve a lot more than just baseball, because they provide opportunities for people to walk and to enjoy open spaces, and there eventually will be soccer and an incredibly large pavilion out there for your festival, other activities, pickleball, et cetera, et cetera. And we're very excited about the project, and if this gets approved, we'll be starting tomorrow. And so we know we have a tight time frame, and it's important to get this moving so that construction can start in the fall. And happy to answer any questions that you have.
Charles, it does set the baseball and softball fields up as a priority?
Absolutely. Baseball, softball are the originator of, based on our understanding of the generous donation that has been received, and that's the, although we will be programming is finding out what the needs are in the community, what the needs are to meet the goals of your Parks and Wildlife grant, et cetera. But we will take that and we're going to work towards putting those 3 fields, initially 3 fields at least, that would service both softball and baseball, and then also that have movable fences similar to what you have on the Hill Park side, and to provide a really great playing experience, but also spectator experience, and place for regional tournament play where the goal is not certainly to generate economic development, but the downstream effect of projects like this are people come to visit and learn about your community and spend some time here and hopefully come here and open businesses and, get to explore and learn more about Wyoming. So.
And Bo, you've reviewed all this
In depth.
wording.
Yeah, no, and I read the contract, I think, as you saw from the emails, I requested changes to the contract to protect the city, and they made them all. So I'm fine with the contract as revised, since they made the changes I wanted.
Thank you for your work. Appreciate that. This is an action item.
I move to approve the professional service agreement with Burnett Consultants for the architectural and engineering services for the Weimer Sports Complex project and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Motion Christian,
Second.
second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Go to work.
Get to work.
All right. So with that, we'll move into our executive session. I'm showing 6:27 PM.